Mirror and HarlequinAudio present The Woman Before Wallis, a novel of Windsors, Vanderbilts and royal scandal, by Bryn Turnbull, performed by Mary Jane Wells. One. October 9th, 1934. RMS Empress of Britain. Thelma considered Manhattan her home, though she hadn't lived here for over 10 years. To her, it was a city of firsts. She had smoked her first cigarette there, a lucky strike stolen from a nun's desk drawer at the convent and passed around the dormitory after bedtime. She and her twin sister Gloria had rented their first apartment on Fifth Avenue, an attic brownstone, which, at 16 years old, they were far too young to live in unchaperoned, but did so anyways, stuffing the living room with flowers and leaving the icebox empty. Her first encounter with the society pages had been at New York Harbor. She was 8 at the time, mobbed by reporters at the behest of their diplomat father in an attempt to turn the tone of a negative press scrum. The next day's papers would run pictures not of Harry Morgan on his recall to Washington, but of his twin daughters, Thelma and Gloria, walking down the gangplank in matching pinafores. First marriage, thought Thelma, gripping the sable collar of her coat more tightly around her neck. First divorce. She stayed on deck long enough to watch the ship slip past the red brick buildings of Southampton before seeking refuge from the chill air. Though Thelma felt uneasy at the prospect of being away from David for nearly 6 weeks, she knew that she had little choice. Gloria's trial had become a media sensation, chewing up columns on front pages across America and Europe. The custody battle, dubbed the trial of the century by reporters who squeezed onto the courthouse steps each day, was a nightmare for her sister, forced to defend not only her right to raise her own daughter, but also to preserve her own good name. Thelma still rankled at the letter Gloria had sent her. For Reggie's sister to believe what's being said about me is bad enough, but to know that the rumors came from our own mother is too much to bear. Thelma knew that the stories would continue long after the trial concluded. It was inevitable, given that it revolved around a Vanderbilt daughter with a Vanderbilt fortune. She had received the letter 5 days ago, and had booked passage on the earliest steamer bound for New York. If it had been either of her other siblings, Consuelo or Harry Jr., in this situation, Thelma would have offered what help she could, but, as her twin, Gloria held Thelma's allegiance the strongest. It was how it had always been, one supporting the other. There was only one consideration weighing on Thelma's mind, which made it difficult for her to focus on what she would find in America. "Shall I come too?" David had asked days ago at Fort Belvedere. Dismal weather had driven Thelma, David and their guests indoors, an afternoon of weeding David's gardens mercifully replaced by card games and needlepoint round the drawing-room fire. David laid his embroidery hoop to one side, the half-finished rose pointing sightlessly at the ceiling. Across the room, Wallis Simpson, perusing the contents of the bar cart, turned. "Don't be silly," she said. From a club chair in the corner, Wallis's husband, Ernest, folded down the corner of a newspaper. There was a momentary silence as Wallis's long fingers trailed delicately along the crystal tops of several heavy decanters before she selected one. "You can't possibly think it's a good idea for him to get caught up in this mess," she said, glancing at Thelma as she poured a neat scotch. "You've seen the papers. Can you imagine the sort of froth they'd work themselves into with the Prince of Wales stuck his oar in? I don't mean to offend you, Thelma," she said, "but it's just not seemly for him to get involved. Don't you agree?" David's brows knitted together as Wallis handed him the whiskey. "I feel so terrible about it all," he said. "Gloria's a decent sort. She doesn't deserve all this. Surely there's something I can do." He looked up at Thelma, his spaniel eyes imploring. Wallis sat down. "You can let Thelma go to support her sister," she said. "Gloria—"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?